Hey everybody, it's Ron from Pick Dawgz, and this is Ron's Rundown. We're going to go over the MLB game scheduled for Sunday, August 31st, 2025. If you like this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. Put those baseball picks in the comments section below. And if you're looking for my best bets, the games I love the most, including my daily rundown best bet in Major League Baseball, you can find those at the premium picks tab at pickdawgz.com. There's also a link in the description. Alright, here we go. Here are the games for Sunday, the final day of the month of August. First up, we've got the Cardinals and the Reds. We've got Andre Pallante and Brady Singer as the starters. Now, we're playing in a pitcher-friendly ballpark here. We've got two starting pitchers with pretty steep ERAs on the season. Singer above 4, Pallante above 5. And Pallante has really struggled as of late. 12 earned runs given up in his last two games combined. But despite all of that, I actually like the under in this game. I think we're getting value on the under, as I think both of these pitchers match up well here. Singer, even though he pitches at Great American, actually has better numbers at home this season than he does on the road, and pretty significant better numbers. A 3.08 ERA at home, ERA above 5 on the road. His strikeout numbers have been great at Great American. I think he pitches well against the Cardinals team that we've talked about in August has been bad against right-handed pitching offensively. On the other side, you got Andre Pallante. He's got great numbers against this Reds lineup in the past. Over 100 plate appearances, a low xWOBA, low expected slugging percentage. He's a ground ball specialist facing a Reds team that has a high ground ball percentage on the season, and they've been miserable against righties in the month of August. So I think both these pitchers match up well in this particular matchup. Maybe not in their future outings, but I like the under in this game. Give me the under Cardinals-Reds. Next up, we've got the Padres and the Twins. We've got Joe Ryan for the Twins, but no official starter right now for San Diego. Now, Joe Ryan's not been pitching his best as of late. We've seen 11 earned runs given up with 3 home runs his last 2 starts combined. Both ended up being Twins losses. And the Twins have surprised at times in the second half of the season, putting together some wins, but overall still not in love with the current makeup of this roster. And if their ace is not pitching well, I can't have a lot of faith in their game in this particular spot. Not my favorite game on the board, just a lean here with San Diego. And I've mentioned this has been a tough weekend card in Major League Baseball overall, but I'll lean towards the Padres. Next up, we've got the Pirates and the Red Sox. We've got Lucas Giolito and Mitch Keller as the starters. We've taken the Pirates plenty of times this season when I think the spot is a good one, but I don't think this is one of them. I think Mitch Keller struggles in this game. He doesn't have great numbers against his current Red Sox lineup. It is a small sample size, but really bad numbers with 352 expected batting average. You're at Fenway Park, hitter-friendly ballpark. Keller's already struggled on the road this year. I know he bounced back his last game against the Cardinals with a quality start, but that's a Cardinals team that's been the worst lineup in baseball against righties in the month of August, and still gave up a home run and 3 earned in that game. Before that, it was 11 earned runs in the last 2 starts against the Blue Jays and the Brewers. I think the Red Sox get to Keller. I think Giolito will be good enough. He's been a profitable option for Boston this year. Give me the Red Sox on the money line. Next up, we've got the Tampa Bay Rays and the Washington Nationals. We've got Ian Seymour and Brad Lord as the starters. Brad Lord has really struggled his last 2 starts, but you got to look at those matchups. It was against the Mets and the Yankees. You could argue the 2 hottest lineups in baseball right now. I mean, going into Saturday's games, the Yankees have scored 10-plus runs in 4 of their last 5 games, and then the Mets on the other side, 19 runs on Friday against the Marlins. Their offense has been number 1 in baseball in team OPS against righties this month. Like I said, 2 of the hottest lineups in baseball and 2 teams that don't hit the ball on the ground very often, which is Brad Lord's specialty. He's a ground ball specialist. You're now facing a Rays team that not a great offense, and they do hit the ball on the ground quite a bit. I think it's a much better matchup for Brad Lord. I think he has a bounce-back outing. I think the Nationals can do enough damage against the Rays bullpen in this game. Seymour did go 5 shutout innings his last start, but it was against one of the worst lineups in baseball in the Guardians. I think that the Nationals can get to him for a couple of runs here and win this game at a solid price. Next up, we've got the New York Yankees and the Chicago White Sox. We've got Luis Gil and Martin Perez as the starters. We talk about this red-hot Yankees lineup. They're scoring a ton of runs. They're taking advantage of their games against inferior opponents. I think they win this game as well. I was really impressed with Martin Perez in his last game against the Royals, but that's the Royals. Now you're facing the Yankees team. It's number 3 in baseball in team OPS against lefties in the month of August. Top 3 in isolated power as well. They have a low strikeout rate, lower than, it's a little steep, but lower than what we're used to seeing for the Yankees compared to the other months this year. And a walk rate that's at 10.5%. For somebody like Perez, who at times in his career has had some control issues, that could be an issue. And I actually saw it towards the end of that outing against KC, the second and third time through the order, that control was a little bit of a problem. So I think that the Yankees get to Perez. Heel has pitched really well. He struggled season debut. Since then, he's been really sharp. He's looked like the heel we saw from last year in his Rookie of the Year campaign. His strikeout numbers are there. The control is also a concern with Heel. He's given him 9 walks his last 2 starts, but that's not out of the ordinary. He's still been able to get out of jams, get out of these situations with runners on without giving up home runs. Just 1 home run given up in 24 innings. And like I said, missing the bats along the way. So I'm going to roll with the Yankees on the run line on the road. Next up, we've got the Milwaukee Brewers taking on the Toronto Blue Jays. Brandon Woodruff and Max Scherzer are the starters. Tough game here. It should be a good one. I think this has been an entertaining series overall, but I'm going to lean towards Toronto. Brandon Woodruff, last couple of games, definitely his weakest starts of the season. This is a tough Blue Jays team. They don't strike out much, similar to the Brewers. They put the ball in play. They've got good numbers against righties overall this year. I think I trust Scherzer a little bit more right now, and I also think the Blue Jays bullpen is superior, still with that injury to Trevor McGill, who has been one of the better closers in Major League Baseball. So I'm going to roll with the Blue Jays. Like I said, should be a great game. More of a game, I would say it's better to watch than to bet, but I'll lean towards Toronto. Next up, we've got the Marlins and the Mets. We've got Sandy Alcantara and Kodai Senga as the starters. It might be crazy to go against this Mets team right now when they're facing a right-handed starter, but I got to say, Sandy Alcantara is pitching his best baseball of the season. It's also tough to go against Sandy when he looks like this. He's given up 2 runs or fewer in 3 straight games. He's gone 7+ innings his last 2 starts, 6+ innings in 4 of his last 5 games. His strikeout numbers are there. The control's been a lot better. I know he faced the Cardinals. We talk about the Cardinals a lot in this video, struggling offensively, and that was one of the games that he pitched really well. But also, he faced the Braves last time out. Ended up being a Marlins loss, ended up being a Marlins blowout loss, but it still was a Braves team that has really gotten to Sandy over the years quite a bit. To see him pitch 7 innings, 2 runs, 7 strikeouts against that type of lineup was really impressive. Definitely a positive sign for what's been an overall really disappointing season for Sandy. You look at his career numbers against the Mets, they are mixed results. Strikeout rate is pretty low, but in the current form of Kodai Senga, who's given up a lot of sharp contact recently, the Marlins have been a competitive lineup in this series and against right-handed pitching overall. I think Miami is a play here at a really good price. I'm going to take the Marlins plus the 1.5 runs in this one. Next up, the Seattle Mariners and the Cleveland Guardians. We've got Bryce Miller and Tanner Bybee as the starters. I know Bryce Miller's not been the sharpest this year, hasn't pitched a lot with his injuries, but I still think that he's the better option compared to Tanner Bybee. I think he has a much better lineup to back him up as well, and despite what we've seen earlier in this series, I still think Seattle has the better bullpen in this series. So I'm going to side with the Mariners here. Bybee's given up 4+ runs in 4 of his last 5 games. I think that, when you look at Cleveland's numbers overall in the month of August against righties, you could argue the worst lineup in baseball right there with the St. Louis Cardinals, but give me the Mariners on the money line in this one. Next up, we've got the Angels and the Astros. We got Jose Soriano and Hunter Brown as the starters. Hunter Brown struggled a bit in his last game against the Rockies. The defense didn't help him out. He gave up 4 unearned runs, but it ended up being a 6-1 loss for the Astros. And the Astros have lost 3 of his last 5 games. One of those wins, one of the 2 wins they had was in extra innings. So, the Astros haven't really backed up Brown recently, and he's being priced as steep favorites in a lot of these games, especially last game against the Rockies. Jose Soriano's pitched really well on the road this year. We've talked about fading him at home where he struggled, but on the road, a sub-3 ERA and 80 1/3 innings. Does a good job at limiting sharp contact. Only 4 home runs given up in his road starts. He's in good form overall. His last game against the Rangers, 5 2/3 of shutout baseball. 8-5 ground ball to fly ball ratio at 6 strikeouts to go with it. I think the value lies with the Angels in this game. I'm going to take the Angels plus the 1.5 runs on the money line. Next up, we've got the Tigers and the Royals. We've got Michael Wacha and Tarek Skubal as the projected starters. I think this is a lopsided pitching matchup. Even though Michael Wacha's put together great numbers on the season, I think it's a brutal spot for Wacha and the Royals. As when you look at last week's series, Wacha faced this Tigers team, pitched okay, quality start, 6 innings, 3 runs, but Skubal did not have to pitch in that series. He faced the Athletics in his most recent outing, but did not face KC. So for the Tigers, getting to face Wacha for the second time in the same week, it's already a lineup that Wacha struggled with in the past, not necessarily in 2025, but in 184 plate appearances against the current Tigers lineup. He's got a pretty steep expected slugging percentage and expected batting average given up with a low strikeout rate to go with it. So add to the fact that he's also coming off the paternity list, it's a really tough spot for Wacha. I don't think he pitches well. He's given up 17 base hits his last 2 games combined. I think the Tigers get to him for enough runs to win this game and cover the run line and look for Skubal to bounce back. He's got great numbers against his current Royals lineup in the past, so give me the Tigers on the run line in this one. Next up, the Cubs and the Rockies. We've got Matthew Boyd and Tanner Gordon as the starters. Matthew Boyd's first career start at Coors Field, not really coming off a great outing. His last game against the Giants, 5 earned runs given up, 2 home runs. He had 8 strikeouts in 5 1/3, but that makes it back-to-back not-so-great outings for Boyd. 9 earned runs in his last 2 games combined. That's not going to get the job done at Coors Field, and the Rockies have been pretty good against left-handed pitching, especially when they're playing at Coors. Boyd's not been the best on the road this season. He's been a lot better at Wrigley Field. You got Tanner Gordon pitching really well as of late and has better numbers at Coors Field in the season. The Cubs are near the bottom of the league in OPS and isolated power against right-handed pitching in the last 30 days. I think a lot of things are pointing in the Rockies' direction here at a really good price. Give me the Rockies plus the 2.5 runs. Next up, we've got the Orioles and the Giants. We've got Tomoyuki Sugano and Justin Verlander as the starters. So you've got Sugano, one of the most profitable pitchers in baseball, up against Verlander, one of the least profitable pitchers in baseball. And both of these starting pitchers, their last starts, Sugano, a loss against the Boston Red Sox. Verlander got the win against the Chicago Cubs. And that was the only win for Verlander in his last 5 games. It was the only loss for Sugano in his last 5 games. I think that Sugano, he might not be my favorite option in terms of his underlying numbers, the expected numbers, but you can't go against the fact that the Orioles have won a lot of his games. I think he matches up pretty well in this game, even though San Francisco's been a lot better against righties as of late. And I think that the Orioles also match up well with Verlander. I think they can do enough damage against Verlander to win this game. I think we're getting a really good price with Baltimore. I mean, when you've got a starter like Verlander, who, he pitched well enough in his last game, still give up 7 base hits in 6 innings, but he's a starting pitcher like that. It's lost so many games this year at this kind of price. I got to go the other way. Give me the Orioles in the money line. Next up, we've got the Rangers and the Athletics. We've got Jacob deGrom and JT Ginn as the starters. JT Ginn got us the win that last game against Skubal. He was good enough. He struggled the first inning, but settled down 5 1/3 innings, 3 runs, 8 strikeouts. I think Ginn's got a lot of potential, and I think that this is a great spot here for the A's at a great price. I mean, Jacob deGrom, obviously one of the better pitchers in Major League Baseball, but the Rangers have lost his last 5 games. They have not backed him up offensively, and even recently he's not been pitching deep into ball games. 5 innings or less in 3 of his last 4 starts. He's given up a good amount of runs in the month of August also, so I think this is a good spot for the A's at home. I'm going to side with the A's on the money line. Next up, the Arizona Diamondbacks taking on the Los Angeles Dodgers. Brandon Pfaadt and Yoshinobu Yamamoto are the starters. Now, the Dodgers have seen a lot of Brandon Pfaadt over the years, and they, in 104 plate appearances for the current roster, a .635 expected slugging percentage and a .322 expected batting average. Just great numbers against Brandon Pfaadt. He's struggling this year. We've talked about his expected numbers being some of the worst in Major League Baseball. Yamamoto's got great numbers against the Diamondbacks in the past. I know he's been inconsistent, and we backed him a few spots where it looked like a clear Dodgers victory, and he struggled. And we saw that in that game against the Rockies at Coors Field not too long ago. But I think he'll be good enough here for the Dodgers to pick up this win and run line cover. Next up, the final game for Sunday's card, the Sunday Night Baseball game on ESPN between the Braves and the Phillies. Hurston Waldrep and Jesus Luzardo are the projected starters. Now, Waldrop's been excellent in his first 30 innings of work, his first 5 games at the Major League level. He's given up just 3 runs. It's good for a .9 ERA and a .93 whip to go with it. However, you look at the strength of schedule, look at the teams that he faced. The Cincinnati Reds, the Marlins twice, the White Sox, and the Guardians. Guardians, we talked about, have been one of the worst lineups in August against righties. The same thing for Cincinnati. The Marlins are a bit tougher, and we saw in his last game he wasn't the sharpest against Miami, despite 5 1/3 1-run innings, no strikeouts, 8 base hits, and a walk to go with it. So that really was a concerning outing, in my opinion, for Waldrep. And then the White Sox are also not an amazing lineup overall. So now you're facing the Phillies, definitely the toughest matchup yet for Waldrep by far. Your opposite, Jesus Luzardo, has been inconsistent, but I still think a good option overall for Philadelphia. I really was concerned at the fact that no strikeouts and 5 1/3 for Waldrep in that last game. I think he's in trouble in this game. I think we see Philadelphia get to him, and the Phillies win this game and potentially cover the run line as well. So give me the Phillies laying the 1.5 runs. And that's it. Those are the games for Sunday in baseball. Hope you enjoyed this video. Again, if you're looking for my best bets, you can find those at the Premium Picks tab at pickdawgz.com, and there is a link in the description. As always, this is Romanelli. Good luck.